Good evening, everyone. I welcome everyone in the gallery and councillors tonight to our general meeting this day on the 18th of, what's the date today? 18th of September. Get my mind around it. And we're opening the meeting at 6:01. I need to advise you that it is council policy to record the proceedings of the meeting of council on digital media to assist in the preparation of minutes and to ensure that a true and accurate record of debate and discussion of meetings is available. This audio recording is authorised by the Local Government Meeting Procedures Regulations 2015. I'd also like to begin with acknowledgement of country. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet today, the Tomagina people, and to pay our respects to those that have passed before us, their history and their culture. Item 1 is a record of attendance. We have one apology, Councillor Courtney, and leave of absence, Councillor Raw. Item 2, confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting. There is a recommendation before you, councillors. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Roberts, could I have a seconder? Councillor Hyland. Any corrections to the minutes are to be identified and agreed to at this point prior to taking a vote to adopt the minutes. Are there any amendments or corrections with those minutes? None have been identified. I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Carried unanimously. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest from the councillors this evening or from staff? I have no declarations of interest, so moving on to item 4, councillor announcements. 4.1. Announcements by the Mayor. Congratulations to Tracy Bradley, Executive Manager of Community and Engagement, who recently became the first woman to be awarded life membership to the Local Government Professionals Tasmania for her dedication and service to the organisation. 4.2 are my communications for the month, and I ask for a mover on this particular recommendation.
So moved.
Councillor Hyland.
I'll second.
And Councillor Johnson. Are there any questions about the list of activities there? No questions or comments. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 4.4, notification of council workshops. There is a recommendation that the council note the following workshops. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Roberts.
Second that.
Councillor Bramich. Are there any comments or questions regarding this particular recommendation? No comments or questions. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. Item 5, public questions and statements. We have responses to public questions taken on notice from the previous meeting. There are nil. Public questions received in writing, nil. Public questions without notice and public statements without notice. We have come to that point in the meeting, and I'll read a statement out before I call those people wishing to make statements to the microphone. The Council encourages community participation in its meetings through the opportunity for public questions and statements. Consistent with Council's core values, councillors and staff strive to ensure all people are treated with respect and integrity. We expect our residents and ratepayers to apply similar standards in their dealings with Council. As Mayor, it is my responsibility to maintain the orderly conduct of council meetings and to determine whether a question or statement is out of order due to the use of offensive, objectionable or defamatory expressions. I remind everyone that Council's new council meeting procedures were adopted at the March council meeting. In particular, it should be noted that a maximum of 3 questions may be asked per person. Any parts to questions are considered to be questions, or questions to be asked before a response is provided. There is a time limit of 3 minutes per person to ask those 3 questions. Once a question is answered, there is to be no debate on that question. Public statements are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per person, and there is to be no questions or discussions related to a statement. I ask members of the public to show proper consideration and courtesy in their comments. Mr. Ewington, would you like to come forward? Thank you. Go right ahead.
My statement is in relation to annual weed control program for 2023-24. Waratah Wynyard Council requires to take more active role in containment for noxious weeds and other major weed problems within the community. I feel that the technology and the availability of internet and other facilities, they should probably outline various noxious weeds, the type of weeds, how they look like, pictures and that on your internet site, on your Facebook or that sort of thing, to highlight to the community members what they are looking at, how they address the problem in control of weed spray, or some reference points where they can contact the council and get further advice. For a number of years, I feel there's not enough done by the field officer in coming to talk to the person who bring the attention to him or to the community that there's weeds out spreading in the community, and discuss the problem and not keep him informed of what is happening. I feel that's not enough being done. I like to highlight the fact is once capeweed was a noxious weed, but because it spread prolifically, that was taken off the list and still an ordinary weed. That doesn't mean the council give up on it. It started in Somerset and now is spreading throughout Wynyard municipality, and I feel if we don't contain it and try and control it, it's going to take over. It's out in flower now, and I feel it's a prime opportunity where the council could identify with the areas, especially parks and that, and when they actually mow on the lawns, they actually clean their decks down before they move from Somerset to the Wynyard area where there's not the capeweed preferably being spread at the moment. I feel a lot more safety issues should be done in that respect. I feel that also you should highlight the fact that this year will be a prominent year for slender thistles because they're growing quite proficiently at the moment, and I feel that this is the stage where the local weed control officers in the council visit the farmers or the property owners who have had issues in the last previous years, let them know that they need to address this situation so we can contain it. Same goes for ragwort, but unfortunately in the last season there was some property owners didn't take good action or didn't understand what they were doing, and it makes it very hard for the neighbouring properties who are trying to contain the weed, find it disheartening when the neighbour doesn't have no idea and doesn't attend to the problems. So I'm just asking the council to put a little bit more effort into it, promote it more in your Facebook or on your Waratah notice board, and just highlight how important this is. One other one is, of course, my favourite one is foxglove. It is throughout the community now, so it's no use notifying as a noxious weed because we're not going to be able to control or eradicate it because it's everywhere now. But I still feel you should at least put it on the system and promote it to the people there to identify the weed because it is poison for animals and humans, and we should act quickly on it, as I previously identified that the weed is a difficult weed to contain. Thank you. Madam Chairman, I've got actually, by mistake, I've got 4 questions, but do I just alleviate one, do I, Madam Chairman? Probably by the books you say it is.
If you're very quick, no.
Oh, well, I'll leave the first
3.
one, I'll take the other ones. This reference to the new installation of curb footpaths within the town centre now being completed for the current year 2023. When will the installation of tactiles be installed on the completed works? Question 2. Reference to building complexes with the community used by all members of the community, e.g. council officers and the new completed community yacht club, Wynyard. Has there been a process in place for the installation of tactile pavers within the building complex inside and out? Question 3. Relation to the upcoming fire season 23-24, has the council completed updated process for handling the evacuation processes for handling members of the community when there is be affected by bushfires, which may happen as there is currently major fires developments on the mainland so early in the current season? Thank you.
Thank you for those questions. I'll pass those questions on to Mr. Summers, our Director of Infrastructure and Development Services.
Thanks. Excuse me. Thanks through you, Mayor. To the first question, that there are some outstanding tiles to be placed. At the time of some of the footpath construction, there were some weather delays, but I'm aware there are some tiles still to be placed. For the second matter, the new yacht club and community building, the complete build was assessed by a building surveyor, and any requirements would have been assessed by that building surveyor in order to get a compliant building. So anything in addition could be installed, but what's there has certainly been assessed by a building surveyor. For the third question, I know our Emergency Management Coordinator and Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator are having regular meetings and coordination sessions with the relevant authorities, SES, TasFire and others around, I guess, the pending elevated bushfire season. So for those concerns, there certainly are coordinated efforts across the state to make sure communities are best prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Summers. There being no further questions in this part of the meeting, we will now move into the Planning Authority section at 6:12. So we go with this one. Okay, this 6.1, public questions without notice. And Mr. and Mrs. Lee, do you have some questions you wish to ask?
Well, there's a couple.
Would you like to come up to the microphone?
That's all right. That's okay. So we've been away for a fair while, and we only got back just over a week ago. Regarding the Telstra Tower, we knew nothing about it until we received an email from a lady by the name of Helen. We were out of signal and out of contact a fair time, but reading the agenda, it seems like it's already been approved. No? The tower hasn't been approved?
Not until it's put to the councillors for a decision.
All right. So what I'd like to say is we got very little notice, and we run a accommodation business straight across from where the proposal for the tower is, and we see it as what can I say? It's going to be supposedly 40 metres, which is like a 12-storey building, and straight across from us.
Are there any further questions? I don't think so. Nobody's put anything in. We move on to item 6.3, the telecommunications facility located at 8 Port Road, Boat Harbour. There is a recommendation that Council, in accordance with Section 51 and 57 of the Land Use Planning and Approvals Act 1993 and the Tasmanian Planning Scheme, Waratah Wynyard grant approval for the telecommunications facility at 8 Port Road, Boat Harbour, subject to the following conditions. I ask for a mover of this particular motion.
I'll move it.
Councillor Roberts, could I have a seconder?
Seconded.
Councillor Hyland. Councillor Roberts, would you like to open the debate, please?
Look, I actually asked a few questions before the meeting about this. In regards to, this is the hardest part I've found of being on council, is actually not being on council but being a member of the Tasmanian Planning Authority. As a member of the Tasmanian Planning Authority, each of us up here has an obligation to follow the letter of the law. And as Telstra owns that land and has met the approval, we will be given no choice but to approve it. I actually really do feel for you guys. I appreciate every business owner in our municipal region, and you all contribute immensely. I'm really sorry about the timing of your holiday in conjunction with this. But I will move this motion in accordance with my duty as a member of the Tas Planning Authority and my genuinely I feel for you, I really do.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Is there any further comments or debate, please? Councillor Hyland.
Yeah, thanks. The proposal provides an essential communication service for the whole area and has been designed to allow operators to co-locate equipment on the site in the future. Now, there were 3 potential locations for the facility identified, and all within the agricultural zone. However, the subject site offers the best coverage out of the 3, so that's obviously why it's been identified. Now, it also is very important for the whole area in regard to safety, in regard to fires, people getting lost, all those sorts of things. So it's a very important part of equipment in that area. And this council, for the past 20 plus years, has been a very active council in regard to pursuing any federal election money that was up for grabs for continuing upgrading our facilities such as this site, because it's very important, and there's been a lot of people in that area over many years which have had very poor service. And one of the other more important this equipment provides is for the agricultural sector. Most agricultural equipment now rely on all the latest technology to operate anything they do in the way they crop and all sorts of things. And even as far as farmers getting indications of what amount of grass feed they've got in their paddock. So it's a very important piece of equipment. And yes, we do understand that there are issues with a little bit of the height of it, but I think after a while, I lived up Calder Road for 30 years and I had one 50 metres from my bedroom window. So it's a new one. It was there for about 5 years before I moved, but after a little while it was sort of part of the furniture in the agricultural area, so I'll certainly support the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Hyland. Are there any speakers against the motion? Are there any further speakers for the motion? If not, Councillor Bramich.
Thank you, Mayor. I do feel for the people that didn't get notified because I was away, but I guess everyone wants technology now, and how good, and surprising the black spots we've got in our area even now, and hopefully this might solve a few problems.
Thank you, Councillor Bramich. As there have been no speakers against the motion, we don't need you to conclude the debate. Councillor Roberts, I will put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. Moving on to item 6.4, the dwelling and outbuilding shed and workshop located at 17 Brady Place, Somerset. There is a recommendation before you. Could I have a mover?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Could I have a seconder?
No, I'll second that.
Councillor Hyland, Councillor Roberts, do you wish to open the debate?
Yeah, look, it's a dwelling and outbuilding in Somerset for approval, and absolutely, please keep building, people.
Thank you, Councillor Hyland.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, the shading issues sort of came up, but they have been adequately addressed as far as I can see. And yeah, it's all sort of pretty good, passes and meets all points of the planning scheme, so I've got no problem with it.
Thank you, Councillor Hyland. Are there any speakers against the motion? Are there any further speakers for the motion? If not, I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 6.5, outbuilding shed and carport located at 1 New Street, Wynyard. There is a recommendation before you, councillors. Could I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Hyland.
I'll second.
Councillor Johnson. Councillor Hyland, do you wish to speak to this motion?
Yeah, again, this one has fitted in quite well. There was a bit of a concern about, I think, the size of the shed, but when all boiled down, it's all in scale with everything around the area, so it's not like a 40-storey building sticking up in the middle of suburbia. So, and once again, everything's been addressed, all the issues, so happy to support it.
Thank you, Councillor Hyland. Are there any further speakers for this motion? If not, I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. That concludes the Planning Authority items at 6:22. We go to item 7 in the open meeting again, matters raised by councillors. Responses to questions from councillors nil received, no questions received in writing, and councillor questions without notice. Are there any questions without notice at this point? If there are no questions without notice, we will move on to item 8, notice of motion nil have been received. Item 9, reports of officers and committees, Inglis River walking track study. There is a recommendation for parts to that recommendation. Could I have a mover for that motion,
So
please?
moved.
Councillor Roberts, could I have a seconder, please?
I'll second that.
Deputy Mayor Edwards. Councillor Roberts, would you like to speak to this motion, please?
Actually, look, again, for anyone, I mentioned this last time, the public attachment with the report in there. I would highly recommend anyone to go to our website and look at some of our strategic plans that we have in place and some of the studies and the findings. And for those who want information about what their council is up to, you'll find it all in there. And I honestly am just very proud to be a part of this council and some of the projects that we have underway. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Are there any further speakers? Councillor Hyland?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, we got a whole review in the last workshop on what's happening with the whole the complete works on the walking track, and obviously it won't all be done in the current year, but just in point 2, there is a couple of figures there, 190,000 and 835, which are in the current year. So that work will go ahead as planned, and we can look forward to a really top job on the walking track. And it has needed a fair bit, like over the years. We've had a couple of really good floods, which haven't been too helpful to the infrastructure, and but we've identified, or the staff have identified all that, and we can look forward to a lot of repair work over the next 2 or 3 years.
Thank you, Councillor Hyland. Are there any further speakers? Councillor Bramage.
Thank you. Yeah, look, I'm going to support what's in front of us. I did say from day one, and I'll still say it, walking tracks are very, very expensive. But they're also very, very popular. So that's why I say let's get in and try and do it the best we can. And because there's that many people use them, I can't believe it. If I could just comment on yesterday between Devonport and Ulverston at 8 o'clock in the morning, I was unsurprised about all the people that was walking on the coastal pathway. It shocked me. Nearly made me feel bad, but I kept driving anyhow.
Thank you for that, Councillor Bramage. Are there any further speakers or anyone who wishes to speak against the motion? No further speakers. I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 9.2, the Cam River Reserve Master Plan. There is a recommendation. that we note the annual status update on the progress of this master plan. Could I have a mover for this motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Could I have a seconder?
Second, Madam Chair.
Councillor Highland. Councillor Roberts, do you wish to speak to this?
I'll just this plan was adopted in July 2020, and obviously we look at it annually. It does involve the bridge, and it does involve the reserve area, and as a part of that, it's also involved public art and different things. And again, when you look at the Anzac Park and the Cam River Reserve, I hope it shows Somerset our commitment to the Somerset region, and yeah, we'll see this through. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Any further speakers to this motion? Yes, Councillor Highland.
Oh, thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, just on the we've got 23 actions were identified out of that, and so far 15 have been completed, and 3 have not yet started yet, and that's, I think most of those are to do with work in conjunction with when the Cam River Bridge is complete. They'll be looking at to complete them. So, no, go on as according to plan.
Thank you, Councillor Highland, and we're all looking forward to the new bridge. Is there anyone who wishes to speak against the motion or for the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 9.3, East Wynyard Foreshore Master Plan, the annual report. There is a recommendation that Council note the annual status update. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Could I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Councillor Johnson. Councillor Roberts, do you wish to speak to this particular motion?
I'll just quickly note that a 3-week consultation period beginning mid-October 2020 resulted in a total of 98 responses. So absolutely goes to show a couple of things here. Is one, the amount of interest from the public, and 2 is that we as a council are listening and are consulting with members of the public. So all of these projects, I cannot stress enough for members of the public to please get on the internet, have a look at what we're up to, and look on our website at our plans and strategies. And if there's anything you feel like you can contribute to during the consultation process, please by all means do that. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Any further comments? Anyone wish to speak against the motion? No further comments. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 9.4, Fossil Bluff and Surrounding Trails Master Plan. The recommendation is that the Council note the annual status update. Could I have a mover, please, for this particular motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Could I have a seconder?
Second, Madam
Councillor
Chair.
Highland. Councillor Roberts, would you like to speak to this?
Again, this in 2020, Wynyard Landcare prepared a Fossil Bluff Reserve Management Plan that discussed strategies to enrich the biodiversity of the conservation area and educate the community. So again, these plans. Again, I was not on the council at this time, and I honestly want to commend everyone that was involved in all of these projects. It is actually quite exciting to be on the council and be a part of this process, and I really would like to see this project come to fruition. And for those that are wondering, this is also on the internet, so I would highly encourage anyone to go and have a look at it and really just keep up to date with what's happening in their community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Any further speakers for this motion? Or Councillor Highland?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, there was just a couple of interesting planned actions for this coming budget, 23-24, and I suppose the one that'll create a little bit of an interest is the toilet, the public toilet near Fossil Bluff. So it attracted a little bit, a few comments last time around, so looking forward to that, and obviously the walk along the Golf Links Road. So there's a couple of interesting areas there to get the public fired up, so looking forward to that one.
Thank you, Councillor Highland. Any further speakers? If there are no further speakers, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 9.5, appointment of the Accessibility Strategy Working Group. There is a recommendation there for the appointment of 6 members for this particular committee. Could I have a mover?
Yeah, I'll move that.
Deputy Mayor Edwards moved.
Seconded.
Councillor Roberts seconded. Deputy Mayor Edwards, would you like to speak to this?
Yeah, this group is going to be I'm very excited to for this group to go ahead. We've got some great community representatives to come on board our accessibility strategy working group, and I think out of that there'll be many great things going forward within the community for it.
Thank you. They're positive comments. Are there any further comments from the councillors? Councillor Bramage.
Yeah, I support. Just look forward to what the group can bring, and there seems to be some good names there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bramage. Councillor Roberts.
I just, in regards to, I really want to congratulate all of the members that have made it onto this group, and I also want to credit Ken Ewington for his work here at coming along to council as a member of the public and informing us of these things. For anyone that's watching that thinks we don't listen, then I'd highly recommend they look at this, because we do want to do what we can to help members of the community and allow them to be represented. So I'm very proud of this one also. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Any further speakers to this motion? No one spoken against the motion. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 9.6, Quarterly Information Report, Organisational Performance. There is a recommendation that Council note the Quarterly Information Report for the Office of the General Manager and Organisational Performance Department as of the 31st of August 2023. Could I have a mover for this motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Could I have a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Councillor Ramage. Councillor Roberts, do you wish to speak to this particular motion?
I'm starting to sound a bit like a broken record here, but I would like to again point out that if anyone would like to read our quarterly information report, they are very incredibly detailed, and honestly there's a lot of information in there that I would hope that ratepayers and members of our community would find interesting. So thanks to the council for putting these together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Are there any further speakers to this motion? Councillor Hyland?
Yeah, there's quite some interesting reading in there, and I would hope that most councillors have had a bit of a look through there. But council, just one point I picked out there, council has a good employment retention, with the turnover rate continuing to be well below the average. So congratulations there, staff, on that one. But no, it's very good reading and very important. I think that you should be aware of what's going on, I think, internally. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hyland. You're quite right. It underpins our governance role. As there are no further speakers, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 9.7, Fixing of Council Meeting Dates. Councillor Bramage, would you like to move?
Yes, I'll move. Thank you.
And Deputy Mayor Edwards,
I'll
would you
second
like to
that.
second that? Councillor Bramage, did you wish to speak to this motion?
This is a common thing we do each year, and nothing's changed, so I'm quite happy with it.
Thank you, Councillor Bramage. Are there any further comments about the meeting dates? If not, I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 9.8, Award of the Contract 810, Stormwater Main Replacement in Bowick Street. There is a recommendation that Council award Contract 810, Stormwater Main Replacement, Bowick Street to Bachelor Construction Group. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Bramage.
Seconded.
Councillor Roberts seconded. Councillor Bramage, would you like to speak to this motion?
Oh, just very briefly, I guess what I understand, Bachelor is a very big company, and I think they should be quite capable of doing the job at a reasonable price.
Thank you, Councillor Bramage. Are there any further speakers to this motion? If not, I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. carried unanimously. 9.9 Capital Works Budget Amendments 2023-24. There is a recommendation that Council adopt the proposed Capital Works Budget Amendments, carry forwards totalling $155,303 as presented. Adopt the proposed capital budget amendments totalling $895,297 as presented, and adopt the revised estimate financial statements for the year ended 30th of June 2024, replacing the statements adopted in the annual plan and budget estimates on 19th of June 2023. And point 4, not borrow $1 million to fund the Somerset Stormwater Outfall project and fund the project using cash reserves. Could I have a mover for this motion?
I'll
please?
certainly move that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Roberts, could I have a second?
I'll second.
Councillor Johnson. Councillor Roberts, do you wish to speak to this motion?
Well, just a couple of quick comments. If people wonder what we do with the money, again, I'd encourage them to come and look at these reports. And to be honest, that is excellent financial management from our senior management and finance crew. And to this day, we really compete with any council in this country when it comes to handling the finances. So I just want to credit all our staff and thanks very much, guys, for keeping us afloat.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Are there any further comments? Councillor Hyland?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, it's a win-win situation. What I can see there's been quite a number of figures there, savings on capital jobs of last year, which has gone very well, and obviously the extensive list of the other jobs which we're going to pick up on the way round, and the fact that we haven't got to borrow that $1 million is really good. And when you look at the end figure, our cash reserve is actually I think it's increased by $300,000 or $400,000. It's amazing bit of an accounting. No, very well done, but and very well presented with all the details on all those extra jobs. Very pleasing to see and very easy to understand. So yeah, well done all round.
Thank you, Councillor Hyland. A very positive outcome for our council and our community. Are there any speakers against this motion, or Councillor Bramage, you'd like to speak for it?
Yeah, I'm not going to speak against it. I guess over the years I've sat home when I read something like this, so I read right through it, tearing my hair out. What the blame hell's going on? But this is brilliant. We're better off, and look, we're getting that much more work done. So I'm pretty happy.
Thank you, Councillor Bramage. Are there any further comments from the councillors? No one has spoken against the motion. I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 9.10 Financial report for the period ended. The council is asked to note this report for the period ended 31st of August 2023. Could I have a mover for this motion, please?
So moved.
Councillor Roberts, could I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Deputy Mayor Edwards. Councillor Roberts, do you wish to speak to this motion?
Again, I just want to credit exactly, I sound like a broken record, but credit the absolute work that's gone into these finance reports. And when you look at our income statement as at 31st of August 23, there's only one little red cross there, and that's to do with materials and contracts, which is obviously a major issue all across the sector right now. So we're actually tracking really, really well in comparison to how the world's economy is travelling in our country. And again, it's all credit to the staff that work here and the amazing job they do. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Are there any further speakers to this motion? No one spoken against the motion. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. 9.11, the Senior Management Report. There is a recommendation that the council note the monthly Senior Management Report. Could I have a mover for this motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Could I have a seconder, please?
I'll second.
Councillor Johnson. Councillor Roberts, do you wish to speak to this motion?
Again, for any members of the public any ratepayers, anyone that's involved in our community and loves our community, I would recommend that you actually read these reports. They're written by our senior management team, and those guys definitely know what's going on around here. So we look to them as well to lead us in ways, and I believe it's important for our community to actually listen to what they have to say. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Are there any further comments from the floor? Does anyone wish to speak against the motion? Councillor Johnson, did you wish to speak?
Yeah, not against. Yeah, I'd just like to re-endorse our community conversation that we had up at Yola. I think it was a fantastic outcome and turnout with the people that come up there, and a lot of good ideas thrown around the room, and yeah, a fair bit of what would you say, noise around the room all night. It was really good conversation. So yeah, congratulations once again. And you know, as a community, and when we have these conversations, please by all means come to them, because a lot of good outcomes come out of them. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson, and I agree with what you have just said. Very enthusiastic people who came along to Yola with great ideas, and we do appreciate that. Are there any further speakers to this motion? No one spoken against the motion. I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. Item 10. Matters proposed for consideration in the closed meeting. The recommendation is that the Council resolve by an absolute majority that the matters listed below be considered in the closed meeting. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Bramage. Could I have a seconder? Councillor Highland. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. Closure of the meeting to the public. The recommendation is that the Council resolves by an absolute majority